Hi, this is Ms. Wright, and I am going to talk about a passage from Cyrano De Bergerac in Act 1 that begins with, I carry my adornments on my soul. I carry my adornments on my soul. I do not dress up like a popinjay, but inwardly I keep my daintiness. I do not bear with me, by any chance, an insult not yet washed away, a conscience to rags, a set of scruples badly worn. I go caparisoned in gems unseen, trailing white plumes of freedom, garland with my good name. No figure of a man, but a soul clothed in shining armor, hung with deeds for decorations, twirling thus, a bristling wit, and swinging at my side, courage. And on the stones of this old town, making sharp truth ring like golden spurs. Okay, so this passage contains several words which are important to know if you're going to have a good understanding of the passage. So the first one is adornments. What are adornments? Adornments are ribbons, frills, or decorations. And at this point in time, men wore very elaborate costumes, and they often were um, made with lace, made with ribbons, and other types of decoration. Popinjay is a conceited person, especially one who dresses or behaves extravagantly, and it's also a parrot, which, if you know the colors of a parrot, a very bright, beautiful bird. So you can associate that with it also. Daintiness, of delicate beauty, exquisite refinements, scruples, a moral or ethical consideration or standard that acts as a restraining force or inhibits certain actions. Your morals tell you right from wrong. Caparisoned is rich and sumptuous clothing or equipment. A plume is a feather. Garland uh, is the verb, but it comes from the idea of a wreath or being draped in flowers and beautiful leaves and ornaments, materials worn for ornament or as an honor or hung on something as a decoration. And I'm adding this word creed because I'm calling this passage Cyrano's Creed. And a creed has to do with your belief system. And in this passage, he tells us his beliefs or his opinions. Cyrano is not a religious person at all in this story, but he has his own set of almost religious like values that he lives by. This is a scene from my favorite version of the play, and this gentleman here is supposed to represent a popinjay in that he has his lace, the big hat. If we could see a little further back, even some of the gentlemen in the back, they're very well adorned. He's got his hanky ready at the moment, at any moment. So this is an idea of how the men dressed at that time compared to Cyrano, who was in a plain suit. He has his Spanish ruff, which was a kind of fabric worn around the neck, and it was very stiff and starched. And here his plume that he talks about. Okay? All right. So let's look at some of the literary terms and themes that are associated with this passage. When it talks about, I carry my adornments on my soul, that's the main idea. First line, he tells us that his decorations are worn inwardly, not outwardly. I do not dress up like a popinjay. I don't dress up like one of you idiots with all your lace and all your ribbons. But inwardly, I keep my daintiness. So my refinement, my beauty is on the inside, inwardly. I do not bear with me by any chance an insult not yet washed away. This is his pride. We know that he is a man who is very proud. No one is allowed to insult him, not his nose or any aspect of him. He's unbending, uncompromising. to rags, uh, a set of scruples badly worn, the scruples as course, the morals. So he lives up to his morality. He hasn't compromised his morality. I go comparisons in gems unseen. This is the whole idea that my beauty, my wealth is not outwardly, but inner beauty, inner wealth. Trailing white plumes. Here's the white plume again, which becomes a symbol of freedom. Garland with my good name. So what's hung around his neck? Not wreaths of fabric adornment, but his good name is what he wears. No figure of a man, but a soul clothed in shining armor. His soul is unstained. It's like a beautiful armor, bright and shining, ready to be utilized at any time. Hung with deeds for decorations. So he doesn't have fabric for decorations. He doesn't have lace for decorations. He doesn't have ribbon for decoration. His deeds are his decorations. So basically he's saying he's a much more substantial person than the men that you would see around him. Twirling thus a bristling wit. His wit is his intelligence, his sharp mind, his ability to respond to any thing that's said to him with a quick retort. And swinging at my side, courage. And remember, also swinging at his side is a sword. So his sword is the representation of his courage. He's not afraid to use it. And on the stone of this old town, making the sharp truth ring like golden spurs. And you think of spurs that you would wear when you're riding a horse, but as you're walking down the street, they would make a clicking sound, and that's what he's talking about here, the sound of the spurs. And why? What are they ringing out? They're ringing out truth. So this is a man who is not afraid to go after hypocrisy, not afraid to go after lies, not afraid to go after deception. He is all about honesty, integrity, and truth. Okay. So my final comments are, this passage was about inner beauty. It was about integrity, and we saw that. Not going along with the fashion of the day, but being an individual. Look for that as we continue to read, because it's an important part of the play, that Cyrano sees himself as a man apart, a man living up to his own personal standards. And here we see Cyrano as the idealist. One of the themes in the play has to do with the idealist versus the realist, and Cyrano is most often the idealist. He holds people to very high standards, and he holds himself to very high standards. Okay, this was quick because I know you prefer me to make them quick and short. Please remember to subscribe. And this is Miss Wright from the English department. Hope you're having a great day, and see you back in class.